Okay. Hey y'all, it's your girl Jada J. Wait. Okay, so this is obviously not where you would usually see me because I'm usually over there. Which is that's my dining room, but this is my living room. We're still gonna try and figure this out because Big Brother let me. I always thought about doing videos on my phone, but I was always like, I don't know about the storage space. So he was like, go out and buy like a memory card. Haven't purchased that yet, so I don't know how long this video is gonna be. But I am thinking about permanently just doing videos on my phone because I was just gonna spend some more money on a web camera. I don't really feel like doing it because they don't last that long anyway. At least not the place I'm going. Clearly they don't. So yeah. So this is change of scenery. This is my living room. You can kind of see a picture of my grandmother. Rest in peace, grandma. And hopefully you can't see nothing else. Just wanted to point that out. Get that. And also, I hope the mirror in the back. My mom's obsessed with mirrors, but this one actually came with the house. Is not a problem. Okay. So anyway, I don't know if we're gonna be permanently staying here. But this is just for now because of how it was set up. Like if I was sitting at the dining room table, it's like it looks weird because I don't have a tripod or anything, so it's kind of like right now I kind of have it sitting on something and it's decent, whatever. So I didn't take any notes for this episode. I will tell you that I also know I'm extremely late, but this might just be the new normal because I'm literally, as the show's starting, I'm walking in like the show's already started. Anyway, so let's get into it. Okay, now I do remember the opening scene, but from then I think I'm just probably going to be ending up jumping around, but I'll try and piece it together as much as possible. Okay, so we open up where we left off last week. Remember, Benny was holding Veronica's hand. She just got out of the car accident, and she was like, please, Benny, come to the hospital with me. I don't have anyone. Yeah, fake witch. We know you don't have anybody because you're Veronica. Like, who do you think is going to be down there? Who do you think? So anyway, yeah, so he's walking in with her. Hannah sees him, and so he lets go of her hand, kind of like, oh, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't holding her hand, Mom. I wasn't holding her hand. So Hannah, it comes up, and she's like, so what's going on here? Like, what's this? He's like, Mom, I just came to the hospital. She was in an accident. She was like, okay, and what's that got to do with you? What does it have to do with you? He was like, Mom, come on. She didn't have anybody. She just begged me. She was like, oh, so she got you? Like, so you saying you're there for her? He was like, Mom, all I'm saying is that she would be a good person to have in my place because she's a very powerful attorney and she can help us. And she was like, that lady don't help nobody unless it's beneficial to her. True. So I wasn't mad at her saying that because that was true. She was like, are you messing around with her, Benny? Are you still messing around? He was like, Mama, no, I told you. And then he was like, what are you doing here? She's like, I was here at the morgue. He was like, the morgue? Like, Mom, what were you doing there? They found this in the baby's pockets. And it's like, his little action figures. And then there's this note. So he reads it and it pretty much says, I wish that, I pray that you'll be able to help Mom get through whatever she's going through. And that she'll be able to love me the way I love her. And just stop my mom and grandma from arguing. So Benny was like, dang, because it was hitting hard. So Hannah was like, where is she at? Where is she at? He's like, she's at the hotel. She was like, that one where she was at before? He was like, nah. Remember, because that was the Sarandon. Remember, stuff used to be going down at the Sarandon. Like season 2, season 3, and the campaign headquarters. You was not, if you seen a preview with the Sarandon Hotel or the campaign headquarters, you knew that episode was about to be off the chain. Okay, I'm just reminiscing, y'all, because that was, oh my gosh. We're still good, but I'm just saying. Anyway. So he's like, no, not the Sarandon. She's at the Artesian. So she like, all right, let's go. He's like, Mom, I'm not taking you down there just to argue with her. She's like, no, I just want to go ahead and show her this note. Mitch comes up, long story short, Mitch comes up and he's like, Mitch, I gotta go. And so Mitch kind of, I guess, he's going to be there for Veronica because, and actually a nurse comes out and says, Miss Harrington is asking for you. And he's like, could you just tell her I'm busy right now? And Hannah was like, oh, she asking for you, So, okay. Now I'm going to jump around because I don't know what exactly came after that. Okay, so I'm going to go to the Artesian where Candace is at. Okay, so Candace is coming to the bar. And remember, she knows Rocky. We knew that because we've seen Rocky before. But she calls him like RK or whatever. And so she's coming to the bar. He's like, are you okay? She's like, is that your business, Rocky? He was like, I'm just saying, you drinking a lot. She was like, and? Just pour the dang drink, Rocky. And he was like, all right, all right. So she looks over. She sees this girl. She gonna say, well, who's that? He was like, oh, she's one of the new girls. Oh, okay, she's pretty. She cut you in yet? He was like, what are you talking about? She was like, the fee. He said, what fee? She was like, the house fee. He was like, we don't have a house fee. She was like, well, you better make sure you getting paid for that, because that's how we do things here. We do now. You know what I'm saying? She gotta know she's tricking around here. She gotta pay us. That's how he was saying. That's how she was saying that she gotta pay us. Okay? Because remember last week, Rocky and Broderick were talking about this prostitution ring that they're running, and Broderick wants to move onto bigger fish, which would be Catherine. So anyway, yeah, she spots that girl over there and is thinking she might want to get a little piece of the action, you know what I'm saying? Like, trick her out maybe. I didn't appreciate it. Anyway. So, he's like, oh, you might want to be careful. She's like, what are you talking about? He's like, I'm hearing something about a hooker who's robbing these rich guys and whatever. If I'm getting a cold, I'm so over it. But anyway, yeah, so I'd heard about this hooker. She was like, I'll be fine. And he was like, yeah, well, look around this room. It's a lot of vice. And he points him out. And then she goes, and that one over there, he was like, you think he's vice? She said, do you think my name is Candace? And he was like, dang. And she was like, don't worry about it. I got this. Just pour me another drink. The dude comes over. He gonna say, my name is Leonardo. Like, are you kidding? Like, not saying that can't be your real name, but you were just so fake. So then she was like, you're vice. And he was like, what? And she was like, you're vice. I can smell you guys. Like, are you kidding me? And then, so he... Oh, sorry. And then, so he was like, I don't know what you're talking about. She was like, okay. Like, you know, just... He was like, so, are you a working girl? She was like, what? He was like, are you working? She was like, no. I'm a college student. Like, just made up this lie. Like, you're not going to be able to tell me I'm not. She's like, no, actually, I'm a college student. You know what I mean? You're actually wrong. And he was like, why is it that you, like, he calls them, like, hoes or whatever. Why do you guys come to these nice establishments? You know we got nice corners for you where we're not going to bother you at all. Why do you guys come here? She was like, get away from me. She was like, and it just so happens that I'm actually a law student. So if you don't get the F away from me, I'm going to make your life a living heck. And he was like, okay. Goes over and tries to run game on the other girl that Candace spotted, who's like that, you know, the newest escort in town. I'm over it. And so he goes over to sit next to her, and then Rocky's like, you think she knows? And Candace is like, no, probably not. You better warn her, Rocky. She was like, you know what, matter of fact, don't. Let's see how this plays out. Because he actually was like, how am I going to warn her if he's sitting right there? And she was like, forget about it. Let's see how this turns out. So, okay, actually, I think... Oh, yeah, so then this guy comes up. Mind you, y'all, I'm about to show my age right now. That's Jimmy Star off Austin and Ally. If y'all don't know Austin and Ally, it's this little sitcom on Disney Channel. And it's not on anymore. I think they had their last season like 2 years ago or something. That's Jimmy freaking Star. I could not stand him during like the last couple seasons of that show. Oh, I know it's Disney Channel, y'all, but you can get passionate about some Disney Channel shows. Don't try and tell me different. That's Jimmy Star off of Disney Channel. I'm over it. It was him. Like, I immediately knew it was him. So he comes and sits down. He gonna say, oh, how you doing? She was like, oh, that's a nice watch you got. He said, that's a nice watch you got too. She said, oh, thank you. He said, can we stop talking about watches now? She's like, sure, have a seat. So he come and sit down. She's gonna say, let me get a vodka tonic. And then he said, let me get a scotch. Neat. And he looked at her when I was like, I'm over it. So, yeah, he was like, let me get a scotch. She was like, get out your credit card. And he was like, oh. And, like, you know, put this on my tab because Candace wasn't paying for it. Candace wasn't paying for no vodka tonic. You could purchase my drink. Like, the heck? You know what I mean? So, she's like, so, what do you do? He's like, what do you do? She said, I asked you first. What do you do? And he's like, I'm a truck driver. She said, you a truck driver? He like, yeah. She said, let me see your hands. She said, you ain't never touched any, like, you ain't never done nothing for yourself pretty much a day in your life that had to do with your hands. So you ain't been gripping a steering wheel for hours and hours at a time. Your hands is way too meek and weak for all that. So stop lying. You know what I mean? So he was like, what does it matter what I do? So pretty much he doesn't answer her. And he's like, so what do you do? She's like, you know, don't worry about that. She was like, why don't you come up to my room and I'll show you what I do. You know, it's just overdoing it. And so, he's like, oh, it's like that? She said, yup. And he was like, she was like, I'm going to give you one heck of a night. She said, oh, by the way, call your wife and let her know that you're not going to be home, for the rest of the night because you're going to be with me. He said, how you know I'm married? She said, come on now, because them lines that you're using are so tired. No single man will ever use them. And they're certainly not from my generation. I said, oh, Now, he was looking like somebody's father when he came up. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It is for me. But he's a good looking dude, but just like, he gives me that dad vibe. Like, you know what I mean? Now, he don't really remind me of my dad, but he's just like daddish. Not the way that y'all nasty people be using it either. He just reminds me of that. So anyway, she's like, come up in an hour. He said, what if I'm busy? Then she was like, well, you gonna miss out. He said, well, why can't I come up now? She said, because I said in an hour. Now move, because I want to be by myself. Sends him off. He leaves. And I don't remember if I'm missing anything from that scene. Please let me know, because I'm just going off the top of my head. Okay, so let's switch to Charles and Landon. Now, what I'll say about this is, Landon, you're doing too much. That's what I'll definitely say about this. Okay, so remember last week they talked about having drinks, and by the way, shout out to my big brother the Jedi, because he actually ended up saying that, like, it was this big build up. Like, oh my gosh, I can see the light glaring. Listen, y'all, this is just the first. This is like the trial run. We're gonna figure some stuff out and how to just get this everything perfected. And somebody's fired. Lighting. Yeah, this is sloppy. No, I don't care if it's a trial when this is not supposed to look like this. Are you talking back? Sorry about that. Just it's hard to find good hires these days. It's hard to find. Anyway. So yeah, shout out to dang, what the never mind. Okay, we just shout out to my big brother. There was a specific reason I was shouting him out, can't remember. Anyway. So yeah, Landon and Charles. Yeah, no, yeah, that's what I was saying. Shout out to the big brother, because the Jedi, check him out, y'all, if y'all ain't already did. He said in his review this week that last week it was this big buildup. They're going out for drinks, and they literally had like 2 sips of a drink, and it was in the room, like they didn't even go anywhere. Like, so shout out to the I died at that. Anyway, okay, so yeah, they're in the room having drinks. Like, I guess they had somebody like bring up a tray, and they're talking, and he's pretty much just, and at first I was like, okay, maybe Landon is just looking like a friend. Like, they're just cool like that. He gonna have his back, he gonna his. But then I was like, it quickly went from nah. Because, he's asking Charles about himself, like, you know, this and this and that. And I guess Charles had, like, this insane ex-girlfriend. And he's telling Landon, he's like, yeah, she's one of the reasons I actually left and went to the army. And he was like, you went to the army? He's like, yeah. He's like, did you ever see combat? He was like, nah. But it in itself taught me a lot of discipline. He was like, but it was mostly to get away from that girl. And he was like, yeah, I'm sure you have that crazy effect on all women. He was like, nah, you know, trying to be humble or whatever. Landon was like, no, you do. He was like, come on, man, stop. He was like, come on, you don't see how all these staffer women, they look at you. He was like, they want to be with you. They trying to be first lady. He was like, wow, for real? That's crazy, because I don't want to be with either any of them. And so Landon was like, really? And yeah, Charles was like, I don't mix business with pleasure. Like, it's not my thing. And then Landon was like, oh, that's too bad. He was like, no, it's not. He was like, yeah, it is. Because Landon is trying to hint like, hello, I'm here. Because then at one point he says, if you have somebody who could lose as much as you if it ever got exposed, somebody who could keep your secrets, somebody who understood this lifestyle, pretty much saying me. And he was like, no matter what, I'm not doing it. And then Landon was like, well, that's too bad. He was like, and let me find out that you running around with some of these girls. I was like, for real? Like, I just was up on that game that he knew that Landon was gay. But apparently not. Which got on my nerve. Because forget it. Okay, so then Landon is like, oh man, I can't drink no more of this. He was like, oh, you a lightweight. You know, and then so they clowning around about that, and then he takes like the last swig of his drink, and he's like, okay, I think I'm gonna take that nap now, like pretty much get gone. And so he starts kind of undressing in front of Landon, like his shirt or whatever. Anyway, and Landon it wasn't, because, you know, like, okay, it didn't really have to be creepy, but it was, because he did too much. Like, you know, sometimes a movie will be on or something, you see that guy or girl for some of you, and they might take their shirt off, and you looking kind of, you know, you looked, but now you looking away, but you was like, okay, that wasn't bad, you know what I mean? Just, I'm not saying that I've done that, it wasn't me or anything, like, it wasn't me, but, Yeah, I'm just saying. But Landon was like, I didn't know what he was about to do. That was the scary part. I was like, what are you about to do? Did you, you know what I mean? Just, I didn't know. Because he was just out of his mind. Like, what are you doing? So, I don't know about this storyline. I mean, I'm interested to see just because I will say that Charles is not gay. No. Like, I don't like that. I'll see him with Candace. If anything, Candace. Candace, like, I'm not saying anything but Candace. Just, it's Candace. Candace, like, what? Yeah. So, okay. Moving along, I want to make sure I didn't miss anything essential in that scene. Aside from Landon being ridiculous and Charles being so freaking oblivious. Like, what? So, okay, I'm going to switch to Jeffrey. Okay, so we go to the jail. And the DA and these two cops, they come and pull Jeffrey out of his cell. So they go into the interrogation room. And Jeffrey was on his stuff like, nope. I want legal counsel. My legal counsel is my father. My dad is David Harrington. He's representing me. He said, oh, I thought your mother was representing you. Nope. Oh, well, she said she was. She lied. Oh, really? Yup. And then so he's like, oh, you know your mom was in an accident. Oh, really? What happened? Oh, it was a car accident. Really? Oh. Like, Jeffrey was really just giving, I'm like, okay, Jeff. He was like, now, do you know a Judge Bosch? I think it was Bosch. He's like, no. He was like, oh, but you're sleeping with her husband. Jeffrey gave, because Justin is, I guess that's her husband. And, Jeffrey gave, I don't know what you're talking about. I said, come on, Jeffrey, for once, you know? And, so he's like, wow. But he's like, man, listen, you don't have to talk to me at all, but I'm just really interested to find out, like, how everything, like, how is this all going down? Your mom gives you up to me like a tossed salad. Like, why would she do that? What did you do? I mean, I heard Jennifer Salison knew that you were gay, but then your mom made you get engaged to this woman, and now there's a baby on the way? Wow, man, what did she have on you? And he was like, I told you, I'm not talking without my father here. And he was like, all right. And Jeffrey's like, can I go back to my son now? He was like, yup, you can go back when I'm ready, when I'm done with you. And he was like, I want my dad. He was like, well, I gave you 2 phone calls. Why isn't he here? And he's like, I don't know. I called him. He's not picking up. He was like, fine, I'll give you another phone call so you can get your dad down here. Because I guess he's like, dang, we really do need to talk to you. And he's really not talking without his dad. So he's like, I'll give you one more phone call so you can call your dad. Okay. So let's switch to David and Erica. Okay, so David and Erica at the house. It was cute. Like, I pictured, like, if I was married, you know, me and my husband are in the new house and we don't have any furniture yet, so we're just like sitting on the floor eating takeout or something. But David actually cooked. We seen that last week. That spaghetti and dry bread. Let me stop. I'm done. Okay. So anyway, yeah, so they're on the floor. They're just talking, and she's like, "This is a really nice house," and he's like, "Yeah," and then she's like, "I could see something like really airy and just whiskey over there." And he's like, oh, so you gonna help me? She was like, he's like, you're gonna help me? She's like, help you with what? He's like, you gonna help me decorate? And she was like, David. He was like, now come on, don't say no. And she's like, what do we find out that we don't like each other? He was like, Erica, we beyond that point. Like, I don't think that's gonna happen. Let's just at least give it a try. And he's like, come on, please, like, you know, whatever. And you know what? I don't know if I'm mixing up this week or last week, but at one point David is talking to her and he's like, okay, then it's settled, we're living together. And she's like, she acts like, for the time being, I'll stay with you. Like, she's acting like, girl, you ain't got no place to go, so stop it. But yeah, so at one point he's like, well, we could just go, we're gonna stay at the condo till we can get the place furnished. And she's like, oh, my ex, he might have followed you there. Which, now, why are you trying to have tracks that David could possibly trace as a federal judge? You know that boyfriend or fiance don't exist. So what are you doing? I didn't even get that. Like, what? I don't know why she didn't want to go back to the condo, but she didn't want to go back because she's like, he might have followed. And he's like, okay, then we'll just stay here. She's like, fine. So then she looks out the door. She's like, oh my God. He's like, what? She's like, it's the police. He said, the police? And so he's like, calm down, I'll take care of it. She's like, okay. He gets up, goes to the door. It's Justin. So remember, because last week he freaking, after he forced Jeffrey to tell him he loved him, he's like, I'll go contact your dad. So, okay, it's Justin at the door. And he didn't even say, like, it's Officer Lewis. He's like, you're my father-in-law. Like, that's how he was talking to him. Like, I'm Justin. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if y'all can feel that, but that's just what I got from him. Like, he just was like, I might as well just be calling you dad. Like, because me and your son is like, we like this now, homie. We you know, so I don't even have to call myself Officer Lewis. Like, I'm your son-in-law. Like, I don't know. I just got that. So he's like, hi, I'm Justin. He's like, okay, what's going on? He's like, your son, he needs your help. He's like, what are you talking about? He was like, he told me I could reach you by phone, but it's been going straight to voicemail. He's like, okay, what's going on? Well, he's in jail. What? How? Why? Your wife had him arrested. He was like, on what charge? He's like, the murder of Quincy Maxwell. And David was like, murder? Appreciate how he played it off, because we already know that David knows that Jeffrey and Candace murdered Quincy, but he played it off because he doesn't know that Jeffrey and Justin are like boyfriends. So he was like, murder, like, you know. And then he's like, okay, thanks. Goes back in the house, tells Erica there's something going on with my son. I gotta get to the hospital. This witch is hiding out behind the wall. And he's like, what's wrong? She's like, it's just that my ex is a cop. Wait, why are you trying to have tracks that he could trace? He's a federal judge, Erica. Come on. Come on, Erica. I mean, I don't like you, and I'm happy that your tracks is not about to be covered, but you need to be playing it smart, okay? So, all right, David jumps in his truck, and he actually calls Veronica, like, now you're taking this too far. Remember, he doesn't know about the accident at all, so he's thinking, you know, she's out or whatever. You know, he gets in the car, drives off. If we switch over to Justin, I guess he's still, like, parked out front. He has Jeffrey's phone because Justin kept calling David off of his phone, but it was a private number, so he wasn't picking up the phone, which is believable because and nowadays you can't pick up if it's a private number. They trying to track you or something weird. You hear a weird noise. I don't even be picking up. I'll be feeling bad too because sometimes it is somebody that I know, but your number is popping up private. So I've experienced that. A lot of my friends tell me my number pops up private, like my house phone, or even if we order from restaurants and stuff, they're like, your number doesn't pop up. I'm like, anyway, just let's put that out. So yeah, Jeffrey was like, okay, get my phone and he'll answer for me. Still didn't answer because he wasn't even looking at his phone because he was so obsessed with Erica. But anyway, so yeah, he has Jeffrey's phone. So Jeffrey's phone ringing, it's Wyatt. So Justin takes the liberty of picking up Jeffrey's phone, and he doesn't say anything at first. And Wyatt is like, Jeffrey, and he's like, what do you want? He's like, who is this? He's like, I asked you a question. He's like, where's Jeffrey? He's like, why? He's like, who is this? He's like, why are you calling him? He was like, wait a minute. Is this that cop? He's like, yeah. He was like, look, man, I don't know what's wrong with you. You are one sick person, but you need to go ahead and put Jeffrey on the phone. He's like, you don't need to be calling him anymore. Don't call him no more. Period. You don't need to call him. You don't need nothing. And so Wyatt is like, look, you need to go ahead and put him on the phone because I don't know who you think you are or what's wrong with you. Put him on the phone. He was like, call him again. I'm going to come over there and bash your head in. And he was like, you are so sick, man. Put Jeffrey on the phone. Like, it's not scaring him at all. And Justin is like, call him again. Hangs up the phone. Then what's Wyatt do? Hit the redial button. Calls right back. Justin pick up the phone. Wyatt is like, who do you think you are? He's like, are you home? He's like, yeah, I'm home. He was like, I'm on my way to show you who the heck I am. And then Wyatt was like, hold. What did Wyatt say? Oh, Wyatt was like, oh yeah, while you're driving over here in your little pink police car, put Jeffrey on the phone. Justin hangs up. I can't with Justin. I'm trying to level with him because he is, like, he's doing favors for Jeffrey when Jeffrey's locked up. But then you having him trade favors for favors, which, you're doing way too much, Justin. You're doing way too much. And the more, like, weird thing is I could actually see Justin being Jeffrey's type, white. So, not that that's a problem, I'm just pointing that out. So, why are you trying so hard? Like, we know, and you're married, so it was never really going to work. Jeffrey's engaged to a whole entire woman. Neither of y'all are in positions where you should be trying to step out and do anything till y'all figure out what y'all got going on, first of all. But anyway, I can't with Justin. So, okay, where are we at now? Okay, let's switch to Veronica. So, we switched to Veronica. Oh, no, we switched to Melissa at the hospital. The doctor's examining her like, okay, everything's good. Vitals are good, all this, that. Because remember, she got forced to go to the hospital after the car accident, even though she didn't want to go. So, all right. He's like, yeah, this is good, this is this and that. He was like, I heard that you're pregnant. She's like, yeah. He's like, how far along? She's like, I don't know, 8-9 weeks. At least we finally know, because remember, everybody's been like, how far along is she? She's not even showing. So, and the doctor actually said that too. He was like, well, you're not showing. She's like, and? He's like, well, I think we should run some tests. She's like, no, I don't want any tests ran. He was like, I really think, he was like, ma'am, you were just in a serious accident. I think we really need to run some tests. I don't want any tests ran. He was like, don't you care about the baby? She said, I don't give a dang about this pregnancy. And she's like, I want to go. He was like, well, I can't force you to stay. I just do think it would be a good idea to run some tests. Nope. She was like, and that witch that I came in with, is she here? He was like, oh yeah, she's on the 3rd floor. She said, dang. So she's okay? She not gonna die? He was like, nah, just a little bit of smoke inhalation, but she's not gonna die. And she was like, dang. What room is she in? He tells her the room. How you gonna go ahead and tell this girl the room after she didn't made it known that she is not messing with her at all, period? What? So then she gets her clothes on, whatever, leaves the hospital room, goes upstairs to Veronica. She come in the room. Melissa comes to sit down. She's like, what are you doing in here? Are you crazy and all this? She actually calls her crazy. She said, oh, well, that makes 2 of us. She was like, why are you acting like this? I'll throw your mother out on the street. She said, I don't care. I don't care. She goes, oh, you don't care? Your mother gonna be on the street eating beans and, she gonna be out on the street. She said, I don't care. She's like, okay, fine. I'm gonna call your mother tomorrow morning. She'll straighten you out. She said, oh, you really don't get it, do you? She's not going to be able to do nothing because I don't care about anything. She's like, my father died. She's like, and what do you want me to say, Melissa? People died. She was like, oh, you should have died in that accident. She was like, why would you do that? Why were you trying to kill me, Melissa? She said, I wasn't trying to kill you. I was trying to kill us. I said, I'm done. And that's what she called her crazy. So she's like, what are you even doing in this? Why are you here? And she, at one point, even tells her, you're lucky that you're carrying my grandchild. Or else you would have been dead. She said, I don't care. I really don't, Veronica. Because you're not scaring nobody. She was like, I hate you. You're evil. That's that. And she was like, why are you even in my room, Melissa? She said, I need money. Goes up to the woman's stuff. And at first she laughs because she's like, I'm not giving you any money. So she goes and snatches up her wallet. Takes the credit cards. And Veronica's like, get out of my things. Get out of my stuff. So she grabs Melissa. And Melissa's like, don't forget, witch. I still hold the power. She's like, as long as I got this baby. And she hits her stomach. And while she's like, ah! And then she walked out the room. And then Veronica calls, tick, 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 tick. Hello, yes, can I speak to Judge Everett? Okay, yes. I would like to have my daughter-in-law committed just until the grandbaby's born. She just seems really unstable. Okay, yeah. Yeah, great, thank you. Bye. Yeah, get back to me on that. Hangs up, and then she's like, dumb witch, she don't even know she being set up. And she lays right back down. I said, now this, I cannot stand Veronica. I realize for me that it's not a love to hate type of thing. I can't stand her. I just cannot stand Veronica. Like, I can't stand her. She's just really on my nerve. I can't stand her. Like, I'm at that point with her. Okay, so then, we switch to Derek David. And he's going to Catherine's house. Very nice mansion. I dare to say it might even be nicer than the one that they burned down. So, I don't know. Because I really did like that mansion. Like, that's how I'm trying to be living, okay? That's how, that's how I'm living. Like, can't y'all see? Can't y'all see? That's how I'm living right now. That's how I'm living. Moving on. So, yeah, Derek David comes in because he came over there to fix something. I don't remember what it was, but she's talking. She's like, oh, so, what did you think of Hannah? And he's like, she was nice and all that. She was like, yeah, she's pretty hot too, right? And he was like, Catherine. She like, what? He's going to say, oh, you trying to play matchmaker? She was like, nah. He was like, did you do that to make her sink leak and all that? He was like, is that why there was just untwisted the drain. It wasn't really broken. It just she loosened it. And she was like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. He was like, Catherine. She was like, I didn't, but she obviously did. And he was like, you know what, between you and Mrs. Harrington, I can't. She said, Mrs. Harrington. He's like, yeah, I had to do some repairs for her. Oh, does she flirt with you? He's like, no. Okay, so you guys, the camera cut off. So we're just going to pick up right where we left off before the camera cut off, okay? Yes, so Derek David was telling Catherine that when he goes over to Mrs. Harrington's house, she's always trying to pair him up with somebody as well. And so Catherine was like, oh, well, you can't trust her, but you could trust me to hook you up. Trust me. Okay. So then he's like, oh, by the way, like, you should call her. She's like, why? And he goes, she was in a car accident. She was like, really? He's like, yeah, the car flipped over and everything. You should call her. She's like, yeah, I'll get right on that. Like, just, I don't care. Like, you know what I mean? And so then he actually ends up, what was it? Give me a second, y'all. It's there. Oh, yeah. She goes, okay, well, could you, like, try and talk to Hannah? She goes back to that. He was like, for real? And he was like, okay, how about you give her my number, and then she can call me, like, if she wants to call me. And so Catherine was like, this is the freaking, your classic Southern chick. Old-fashioned. She's not going to call you. You're going to have to make the first move. And he was like, all right. She was like, you got me? He was like, yeah, I got you. Okay, and I believe we switch out. Okay, so now let's go back to D.A. George and Sarah Duffy. Remember last week, Jim seen Sarah Duffy on the television. And he was like, I know you. And then he asked Oscar, could you go to some connects and contact her for me, but be very discreet. So this week, Sarah Duffy and George are in the office talking. He's going through all the case files and everything. He's like, so we got the Cryer family and the Harrington family messed up as heck. We got a mother who throws up her son like a tossed salad. We got a son who says which is Wyatt, who wants both of his parents in jail and is willing to give me his testimony plus just extra stuff that they've done to him in his life. And, yeah. So he's just like, wow, this is a really screwed up family. She's like, we have enough for an indictment. He was like, nah, we need to get more stuff. She's like, this is enough. He's like, nah, this family is very, very crafty, and I want to make up a case that they won't be able to get out of. He was like, a screwed up little effed up family, that's not going to be enough. They're going to be able to get out of that. He's like, I need some DNA. So Sarah was like, okay, we'll get it. She was like, you sure you don't want to take this, to the judge or anything? He's like, nah. I need some more stuff. Just give me some time. So she like, all right. She get up. She leaves. Guess who's coming up? Oscar coming up. He got a cell phone. He's like, this is for you. She was like, what? Hello? And then he was like, hi, Sarah. She was like, who is this? He was like, oh, you don't know my voice now? She was like, no, actually, I don't. Who is this? He was like, oh, come on, Sarah. You couldn't have forgot about me. And then he was like, I want you to meet me at the hotel in like an hour, whatever it was that he said. And I think he gave her the room number too. She was like, that's not going to happen. He was like, oh, yes, it will. He was like, it's in your best interest to be here. She gives the phone back to Oscar. And he was like, ooh, that sounds pretty serious to me. I would take that. And then he walks off with his arrogant self. Okay, so let me make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead on to the final scene. Okay, so we get Candace. She's in the room, preparing for this John to come up, if you will. Benny, she looks through the people. She just sees Betty because Hannah's like kind of hiding behind him because they know like she's not going to let her in. So she was like, Benny, what are you doing here? And then he goes, she wants to talk to you. He moves out the way because, he's like 6 feet something. And she's like, so she wasn't going to see her. And she was like, well, I don't have anything to say to her. I don't want to talk to her at all. And he was like, Candace, she was like, no, Benny, y'all need to both get up out of here. I'm busy and just whatever, like get gone. So Hannah's like, I just wanted to give this to you. She was like, what is this? Gives her the note. She reads it. And so she's about to start crying. She was like, what are you doing here, Hannah? And she was like, you know what, Candace, even that baby knew that we needed to fix this. She was like, there's nothing to fix. I hate you. Like, there's nothing. It's not gonna. She was like, now, Candace, what do you want from me? She's like, I've apologized. I've really tried to mend things with us, but what do you want? She's like, I don't want to mend things because you let them kill my son. And then Benny was like, don't, you're not even doing that, Candace. He was like, no. She goes, no, let her speak. She was like, and Benny, think about it. She was like, how is it that she's not even shot once, but my son is dead, so all the bullets just missed her? And he's like, wow, Candace, for real? And then so Hannah's just like, come on, Candace, like, this is how it's gonna be always and forever. She like, yeah, I have no interest in many things with you. It is what it is. Yeah. And she was like, you know what, Candace, you at a certain point, you got to look in the mirror and evaluate what's going on with you. And Benny was like, you know, no, we're not doing this. Every time I bring you you say you want to talk to her, and then Candace is not willing to listen, and you guys just sit here and you argue and you cuss each other out. And he was like, we're leaving. No, he said, he just got up and she was like, yeah, take her with you. He was like, I'm taking both of y'all. Because remember, he wants Candace to move into the house that that Hannah has now, that Captain gave her. And Hannah, oh my gosh, Hannah was like, she's not coming with us. Didn't appreciate that, because you did come there to talk to her, some men fences, and then you go, she's not coming. For real, Hannah? For real? I mean, I wasn't really upset about it in essence, just because I know Candace was never gonna agree to going over there, so it wasn't a big deal. And that it's not like her feelings was hurt. She was like, Benny, I'm not going over there. Like, heck could freeze over right now. I'm not going over to that house. So you need to go ahead and stop living in a fantasy world and let that go. And so she's crying because, you know, you notice that's really probably one of the biggest times we get emotion out of her is when Hannah comes to talk to her, because that's still her mother. No matter how much hatred she claims to have for her, that's still her mother. And she goes, you know what, Benny, nah, this is your fault too. This is your fault because you made me give him to her. You made me give him to her. And then he was killed. He was like, you wanted him in foster care, Candace? Oh, at least he'd still be alive. Which, that's what you think. You don't know what could happen in foster care. So let's not get up on our high horse, Candace, and literally point the finger at everybody except yourself. Like, let us not do that, Candace. Let us not. Okay, I'm over that. I can't with Candace. I can't with Candace. Okay, I can't with Candace. So she's crying. She's like, you two need to get out. They pretty much like, we're not going nowhere till we really sort this out. Candace ain't interested. Knock, knock. She goes to the door. It's Jimmy freaking Star from Austin and Ally off Disney Channel. Yes. 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 Okay. So it's him. He didn't come in on his knees, by the way. I want to say that when she talked to him in the bar, she was like, and come up in an hour. She was like, and come in on your knees. And he was like, okay. I didn't really think he was going to do it, but just if I'm remembering details. So he just walks right in. And he sees Hannah and Benny. He's like, oh, I must have the wrong room. She's like, no, you got the right room. You know, just hang tight. And then Benny was like, oh, I know you ain't got no John coming up in here. And she was like, you guys, both of y'all need to leave. I'm busy. And Benny was like, oh, no, we're not leaving. It's not going to happen. This man needs to leave. He was like, no, it's okay. Jimmy Star's like, it's okay, Candace. You know, I'll just leave. She was like, no, I want you to stay. They're leaving. Get out. And then Hannah was like, you might want to let this one go. And when she said that, I was like, does she know something? Like, is he going around burning people? Like, what is it? Is he Vice? Like, I was like, does she know something that we don't? And then Candace didn't think anything of it. She was just like, you know, you two need to get out. Next thing you know, she says, he's your father. Oh my goodness. Okay. I have to point this out. I will tell you that, and this is what I know. Okay, like if you're somebody who sometimes goes back and watches like season 1, like sometimes I'll just go back, like if I'm watching a show and like it's coming towards its end, which we know that has supposedly there's only 2 more seasons left. So you go back and you watch the older seasons. If you go back to season 1, Jim and Candace were actually in bed, and she told him she only seen her father twice in her life. She said one was at a birthday party. The other one was when he was being taken away in a police car for hitting my mother. And that was the last time she saw him. So I'm going to say that. Then, and she said it was like when she was 6 or 7 years old. Then when we got to season 4, they came up with, I guess, a new storyline. Which was that Hannah slept around so much she didn't even know who Candace's father was. Quote unquote. But now it's kind of like, okay, you knew who he was, but you didn't want her to know about him. So I do want more background on him. But what I will say is this, like, did she just say that because that's the only way she's going to get out of there? Like, does she know Candace and, like, she's never going to listen? So she just was like, that's your father, because that's an obvious turn off, like, for most of us, okay? Because there are some of y'all out there, y'all are nasty. So, I don't know. Like, wow. I gotta tell you, I was shocked. I wasn't expecting it. I didn't know what she was gonna say, but I definitely didn't think he's your father. Like, what? And then Hannah was, I mean, Candace looked at him, and he's looking like, his reaction was kind of like, which, are you crazy? Because when he came in, it wasn't like, because at first I was like, okay, is that why he came in and he was like, oh, I must have the wrong room. But nah, because I went back and watched it, and it didn't give me that, like, it was kind of like legit. He didn't recognize Hannah, he didn't recognize Benny, he was just like, oh, you got people in here, so how are we supposed to get down? Like, you know, I must have the wrong room. Like, are you serious? So, I'm interested to see what's going to happen next week. I wonder, is she going to say, I just said that so you can make him leave? Or what? Like, and then she even, it's spoiler alert, she tells Candace that she didn't even want her at first. But she's trying to kind of get everything out on the table because she's coming to the point where she's realizing this is my daughter and we can't be at each other's throats like that. If not for us, then at least for the baby. You know, even though he's dead now. So y'all could have just mended this, excuse me, way before. Like, what the heck? Jimmy Star is Candace's father. I mean, he was looking like somebody's father, but I didn't think he was hers. Oh my goodness. And then he must have did something though, right? Yo, I mean, you would think. Because he doesn't even recognize her. Like, so the heck? Like, did you know that Hannah was pregnant? Or did you know and then just like, okay, which, or did she not even tell you? Because Hannah does seem like the very independent type. If she knows you're not going to step up, she'll just, but I feel like at that point in her life, she was different. I don't know, y'all, but we're going to find out. This is going to be interesting. It's gonna be a lot. It looks like there's gonna be a lot of emotion evoking next week. So I hope I'm not in tears or anything. I hope not in tears, you know. So it should be. It makes for a good episode. Okay, I want to make sure I'm not forgetting anything essential because I always turn off the camera and then I'm like, I forgot something. Even small stuff like the first episode, I forgot about that little snippet with Quita. I like completely missed it. Okay, I'm gonna end the video here, and if I miss anything, I want you guys to let me know. But as of now, I can't remember anything else, so that would be, let me see, just if I can get just a small, just to make sure I'm not missing anything. Yeah, you guys, I think I covered everything. Even if it wasn't in great depth. I'm pretty sure I got at least the basics. Yeah. Alright, so I'm going to end the video here. You guys, please do let me know if I did miss anything. Once again, hopefully we'll be figuring out a permanent setting for this and some way to block the glare. Okay, it is the one and only your girl Jada J. Sorry I'm late. Thank you. Peace.